Welcome to the Paper Trails and Rabbit Holes debate. I'm glad you're here with us. Today we are staring directly into the abyss of the modern internet, or perhaps, strictly speaking, what is left of it. We are discussing the dead internet theory. The central tension we are exploring today is fundamental and, frankly, existential. Is the internet still a place of human connection, or has it become a Potemkin village, a fake facade where AI bots scream into the void at other AI bots?
It is the question of our time, and honestly, it's a little spooky when you really peel back the layers. We aren't just discussing abstract philosophy here. We are looking at a grim milestone reached in the 2024-2025 period. For the first time in the recorded history of internet monitoring, automated traffic officially surpassed human traffic. The breakdown is now 51% machine, 49% human. We are, arguably the minority in our own digital house.
That is the statistic that launched 1,000 headlines. And I'm here to represent the resilient human core model today. My argument is that while the bots generate the noise, the sheer volume of traffic, the pings, the data transfers, humans still generate the value, the commerce, the culture. We are the signal in the static, and that signal is stronger than the raw numbers suggest.
And I will be taking the counter-narrative, what I'm calling the hybrid infiltration model. I believe the internet has tipped. I'd argue that the metrics we use to measure success are now, completely decoupled from reality, and that we are swimming in a synthetic ecosystem where human is a label we slap on things to make ourselves feel better, but the infrastructure tells a very different, very synthetic story.
Excellent. The lines are drawn. So let's get into your position statement first. You believe the internet is effectively dead, or at least on life support. Walk us through why you think the patient is terminal.
Gladly. My core argument is that the human internet is now a statistical minority, and that has profound downstream effects. As I mentioned, we've crossed the Rubicon. According to the Thales and Imperva 2025 Bad Bot Report, 51% of all web traffic is automated. But let's be clear about what that means. It's not just traffic in a neutral sense, like a utility. It's the intent. Bad bots. These are malicious scrapers, credential stuffers trying to hack logins, fraud agents. They now make up 37% of global traffic. That is more than 1 in 3 visitors to any given site being an agent of chaos.
I see why you think that. But let me give you a different perspective on the definition of a visitor. You're conflating traffic with users. Just because a script pings a server doesn't mean it's using the internet in a social sense or, participating in the culture.
Let's look at what happens when you try to clean up that traffic. This is where the theory becomes reality. Look at the Twitch 2025 purge. Twitch is a platform built entirely on live human interaction, chatting, reacting, community. In August 2025, they implemented a comprehensive security update specifically designed to detect behavioral signals of automation. The result was an absolute bloodbath.
It was definitely a shock to the ecosystem.
Shock is putting it mildly. Global viewership dropped by 24% in just 3 days. Think about that. Major streamers saw their concurrent audience numbers, the people they thought were chatting and watching and laughing, vanish by 20 to 30%. That suggests that a quarter of what we assumed was human engagement was a lie. It wasn't people watching, it was scripts running to inflate numbers, trigger ad revenue, or simulate popularity.
That is a stark drop, I'll grant you. A 25% correction is significant and painful for those creators.
It proves the illusion of metrics. If a platform that relies on live, real-time interaction is actually 25% synthetic, what does that say about the passive web? What about websites where you don't have to log in to chat? We rely on social proof, views, likes, upvotes, to determine what is true and popular. But if those metrics are broken, our perception of reality is broken. And financially, this is catastrophic. The Association of National Advertisers reported that $26.8 billion is lost annually in programmatic advertising waste. For those listening, programmatic just means ads bought and sold automatically by software. That is nearly $27 billion spent showing ads to eyes that do not exist. That is the definition of a dead economy churning on fake views.
I see the picture you're painting, and it is bleak. But let me offer a different perspective. You are building a narrative of doom based on bandwidth, not behavior. My position is that the human internet is alive, profitable, and remarkably resilient. I believe you and the dead internet theorists are confusing bandwidth, which machines are great at consuming, with economic agency.
Economic agency. Define that in this context.
The ability to make a choice that matters in the real world. The ability to pull out a wallet. Bots are bulk readers. They scrape, they index, they crawl. Humans are meaningful actors. Let's look at the commerce defense. You mentioned the ad waste, which is valid, and I'll address it. But let's look at actual sales. In 2024, TikTok Shop generated $15.82 billion in U.S. sales alone. That is real money transferring from bank accounts to merchants.
But how much of that is driven by bot hype?
It doesn't matter who drives the hype if the credit card clears. Bots do not have shipping addresses. They do not have credit cards, and they certainly do not have a desire for home supplies, beauty products, or women's wear. The fact that billions of dollars in physical goods are moving proves there is a massive, active, and financially liquid human user base. A bot might watch a video, but a bot cannot fake a completed credit card authorization and a delivery confirmation to a house in Ohio.
That assumes the purchase triggers are all organic. You don't think bots can manipulate trends to force those purchases?
They can influence visibility, sure, but the transaction itself, that is organic. Furthermore, I acknowledge your 51% traffic statistic, but we need to look at what that traffic is. You painted it all as malicious, but a huge portion of that is infrastructure labor. Crawlers, indexers, and increasingly, AI training bots like GPT-bot. They aren't fake users pretending to be people. They are librarians scanning the books. They are the plumbing, not the residents. And regarding your ad fraud point, yes, waste exists. But in optimized ad campaigns, those using modern verification tools like Double Verify, fraud rates are driven down to 0.7%. The market has successfully firewalled the humans from the bots. The humans are still there. You just have to use the right filters to find them.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that the filters are holding up as well as you think. It feels like you're saying the house is on fire, but the master bedroom is still okay because we closed the door. Let's move into the core debate, because I think this distinction between infrastructure and fake users is getting blurrier by the day. I want to talk about the content itself, the quality of what we are reading. Let's talk about the slop versus the search.
Let's delve into it.
Pun intended?
Maybe a little.
Because that is exactly my point. We are witnessing model collapse in real time. This is the theory that as AI models are trained on AI-generated content, the quality degrades, like making a photocopy of a photocopy until the image is just a black smudge. The internet is becoming a self-referential loop of machines reading machine output. We have linguistic evidence of this that is, well, undeniable. Researchers have tracked the explosion of specific keywords favored by large language models, words like delve into, explore, comprehensive tapestry, or landscape.
It's important to understand the landscape. You see it everywhere.
Exactly. In 2025, pages containing the word explore accounted for nearly 41% of all active web pages. Think about how unnatural that is for human speech.
That is a massive saturation.
It's not just saturation, it's a takeover. By March 2025, an estimated 167.9 million pages containing the phrase delve into were added to the internet. That represents 2.2% of all active pages just for one specific phrase. The data shows that over 50% of newly published web articles in late 2024 were AI-generated slop, low-quality, mass-produced text designed to game search engines. If half of what is being written is written by machines and half of what is reading it is machines, where is the human culture? We are just watching the servers talk to themselves in a language that barely sounds human anymore.
That's a compelling argument, and the delve into stat is hilarious, honestly. It highlights the quirks of the models. But have you considered the concept of the visibility gap? Just because the content exists doesn't mean it is seen. You are describing the landfill, but I'm talking about the library.
The landfill is surrounding the library, though. It's hard to get in the front door without wading through trash.
Perhaps,
But the users aren't hanging out in the landfill. Citing Rafite's research, despite the flood of AI content, 86% of top-ranking Google search results are still human-authored. These search algorithms are actively suppressing the slop. The machines might be writing it, but the humans aren't reading it because the platforms act as massive filters. Look at Reddit. It receives billions of posts, and it is a prime target for automation, yet their transparency reports and independent studies by Originality.ai show that 85% of visible content, the stuff on the front page, the stuff in the comment threads, is human verified. The slop is being buried by algorithms that prioritize human engagement signals.
You're relying on the idea that an algorithm can tell the difference. But as the models improve, that 86% human ranking statistic is going to erode. The slop is going to get smarter. It's going to stop using delve into and start using check this out. It's an arms race, and the generators are faster than the detectors.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning, because the incentives align with humanity. Google, Reddit, and Meta lose money if their products become unusable. They have a multi-billion-dollar incentive to keep the slop invisible. If I search for a recipe and get 5 pages of AI hallucinating ingredients for a cake that doesn't exist, I stop using Google. I go to a cookbook. They won't let that happen because it destroys their business model.
Let's pivot to where that incentive structure is already failing then. Social media. You mentioned Reddit, which is somewhat curated by upvotes, but let's talk about X, formerly Twitter. This is where the dead internet feels most visceral. We are seeing the super spreader phenomenon.
Which is?
It's the concentration of fakes. Research regarding the 2024 U.S. election revealed that a mere 10% of users were responsible for sharing 80% of AI-generated images. These aren't grassroots movements. They are synthetic amplifiers. And the visual deception is rampant. During that election cycle, 12% of shared political images were AI-generated. That creates a false visual reality. Humans are emotionally reacting to events that never happened, photos that were never taken, and people who do not exist. We are getting angry at ghosts.
I think we need to distinguish between images and discourse. Yes, the images are a problem. Deepfakes are a massive issue, and they trigger a visceral reaction. But the text, the actual exchange of ideas, remained stubbornly human.
How can you be sure? If the pictures are fake, why would the captions be real?
The same research data. While 12% of images were fakes, only 1.4% of political text was AI-generated. The actual discourse, the arguments, the fighting, the debating, remained human. We are lazy with images. We like to share the shocking picture, but we still like to write our own angry tweets. We want our own voice to be heard. And more importantly, I look at the real-world correlation.
Meaning that if the internet were just bots talking to bots, digital campaigns would have zero impact on physical behaviors. It would be a closed loop. But look at the 2024 Indonesian election study. It found that digital campaigns directly correlated with increased youth voter turnout. 75% of youth felt more involved in the democratic process after digital exposure. If those users were bots, or if they were only interacting with bots, that physical conversion at the ballot box wouldn't happen. The signal is getting through. The internet still moves bodies in the real world.
That's a fair point on conversion, but I worry about the manipulation of that signal. If 10% of users can flood the zone with 80% of the imagery, they control the emotional context of the election. Even if the text is human, they set the stage, even if we write the script. But I want to go back to the money. You mentioned earlier that the market is firewalled to humans. I think that's wishful thinking.
How so?
The optimized argument you used about ad fraud being under 1% is a coping mechanism. It highlights a massive disparity. Yes, if you are a Fortune 500 company paying for premium optimized campaigns with top-tier verification, your fraud rate is low. But for everyone else, for the mid-tier businesses, for the non-optimized campaigns, fraud rates are hitting 10.9%. That means the natural state of the internet, without expensive bodyguards, is that 1 in 10 interactions is a fake.
That is why the bodyguards exist. Security is a product now. You don't leave your house unlocked just because crime exists.
But it's getting worse due to accidental interference. We are seeing a rise in general invalid traffic, or GIVT. In late 2024, GIVT rates doubled. Why? Because of AI scrapers like GPT-Bot and Claude-Bot. They are crawling sites to train their models, basically vacuuming up the internet to learn how to speak. But in doing so, they are inadvertently eating up ad impressions. They aren't trying to be malicious, but they are draining marketing budgets just by being hungry for data. The infrastructure itself is becoming parasitic to the economy. The bots that are supposed to help us are eating our lunch.
I see the drain, and I agree that scrapers skewing analytics is a headache for marketers. But I also see a massive reservoir of value that refutes the idea of a dead economy. I point you to the creator economy. It is valued at $191.55 billion.
You don't think that's a bubble?
You can't sustain a $191 billion bubble on fake audiences forever. Brands aren't stupid. They require conversion, they require sales. You can't fake the purchase of a Patreon subscription or a verified merchandise sale. And look at YouTube. They have 122 million daily active users. We know they are fighting the bots because they actively correct view counts. 78% of videos get view corrections.
78%? That proves my point. That means almost 8 out of 10 videos are being hit by fake traffic.
No, it proves the system works. It proves they are catching the fraud. If they weren't correcting the views, I would be worried. The fact that they are scrubbing the data means the advertisers are paying for reality. The dead internet theory assumes the fraud is successful, that the bots have taken over and we don't know it. My argument is that the fraud is rampant, but the immune system of the internet is stronger. We are constantly purging the infection.
The immune system is working overtime, I'll give you that, but let's look at the trajectory. We've gone from 19% bad bots in 2015 to 37% in 2025. The immune system is fighting a virus that is replicating faster than the cure. Every time we build a 10-foot wall, they build an 11-foot ladder.
But we are also developing better antibodies. Post-quantum encryption, biometric verification, behavioral analysis. The humans are adapting. We are moving toward a world of proof of personhood.
Proof of personhood. It sounds dystopian just saying it out loud.
It might be necessary.
Let's bring this to a close because I think we've illuminated the core tension here. We are looking at the same data but seeing two different worlds.
Agreed. It comes down to whether you look at the volume or the outcome.
I come at it from a different way. I believe we are living in a hybrid infiltration. The human internet might still exist, but it is fragile. We are only safe because of aggressive, expensive filters. We are living in a gated community, a VIT room, surrounded by a zombie apocalypse of automated agents banging on the windows. My final caution is this. If that protection gap closes, if the optimized campaigns start failing, or if those linguistic markers like delve into hit 75%, we will have officially lost the internet to the machines. We are one security update away from a Twitch-style purge on a global scale, where we wake up and realize nobody is listening.
And I would frame it differently. I reaffirm the curated commons model. I acknowledge the bot volume, 51%, is a scary number. I won't deny that. But I dismiss its cultural relevance. Machines generate the data, the requests, the scrapes, the indexing. But humans generate the value, the sales, the votes, the original ideas that the bots are so desperate to copy. The dead internet theory is actually a testament to human resilience. We are swimming in a sea of 51% automated noise, yet we still manage to find each other, buy things, and debate ideas. We are the signal.
A signal getting harder to hear every day.
Perhaps, but as long as we are listening, it's not dead.
We leave it to you, the listener. Are you a meaningful user driving the culture?
Or just another data point in the scraper's log?
Thanks for joining the debate.
We'll see you next time.